I never knew that this game existed until I saw the schedule. And upon looking at some of the speedruns on the SRC page, it got interesting very quickly. I stopped myself watching it for like the first 10 seconds just so I could watch this run. Heponwana, what? What the car?
Indeed. Hey, hey everyone, I am Heponwana, and what we're going to be seeing is what the car, which is definitely a good question to ask because you might think a car is just a very simple vehicle, it just drives from place to place, but what if car had legs? What if car was a chef? What if car had jobs? What if car was a party planner? We'll learn all of this and more with what the car any percent. Any percent means we are going to run through episodes 1 through 7, which is the original release of this game when it came out on Apple Arcade a couple years ago. When it came to Steam, it did have a couple additional episodes. We won't see those ones today, but maybe in the future, you never know. So for today, though, we start off any speedrun in that right way of just starting from scratch, deleting our save game. So time is going to be beginning as soon as we start a fresh save slot. So we'll tell it to delete and reset, and time will begin once I hit this button. So if you're ready with the timer, it'll be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we begin by skipping tutorial. I know how to play the game. You know how to play a game. We don't need a tutorial. Wait, you don't know how to play a game? Don't worry, I'll explain as we go along. We're going to start off with, so we need to open that treasure chest in the middle. And that's where we have a friend. That friend is going to be a bear, and those bears, by the way, restart this stage. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We restarted that stage because it is going to give us a little intro, and that intro takes time. We don't have time for intros. We have to get our friend out of that treasure chest because we are planning a party at the end of this run. Chapter 7 is a party for all the friends we make along the way, and that is where we're going to wrap things up. In this stage, car has jumps, so we could just use our jumps to jump. We want to avoid that card. You will see a couple of these cards during this run that we can't avoid, and what those cards are is little rewards if we want to do a harm percent. We're not doing a harm percent, any percent, so we just go through real fast. If we did get the card, it adds a little time to the end of the stage right there. Reset again. Most of these stages we do reset. And you're like, we already saw what a car can do. It jumps. No, what if a car was like Mary Poppins, which is a great, fantastic movie. And so we are going to be Carry Poppins. That is who we are right here. We are a car with a parasol, and we're just going to float through the air. You could go over the exit gate. You could go through the exit gate. You just can't go around the exit gate. And that's going to be important on some later stages because things are going to get a little tricky with exit gates. We're just going to go ahead and have another round of Carry Pop-ins because usually you have a brand new thing each and every stage, but there's a couple times where you could tell the developers really liked what they came up with, and we're going to see it a few times, which is fantastic because I love some of these stages. Hit the ground, speed strat, hit the ground before the dash pad. If you land on the dash pad, you actually are going to lose some of your momentum. It's going to reset your momentum to 0, and then you get the boost. If you land before it, you keep your momentum, then you get the boost, which is so much better. Here we are going jump rope. We don't need reset on this one. So instead we just dive on in immediately, avoid that card, and there we go. That card is really hard to avoid. If we did get it, we lose a few frames at the end, and now we're going to hit this button. And once we hit this button, speed strat called menuing. So we're just going to go back home, and then we're going to go back in episode 1. instead of normally we'd have float on that little dotted line all the way back to the treasure chest, and it's slow floating back there. So we're going to go this next path, and this next path, once we finish it, we can open that treasure chest and find out what friend is waiting for us. Want to avoid that card right there that was in that crane. And we're just going to dash our way through to the end here. And you'll notice most stages I will pick up a gold at the end. Gold implying I did fast. This stage is finicky. I don't know why it doesn't like giving me a gold, but I forgive it. It's alright. Game can be a little finicky from time to time. Here, we are going to be a car with jumps. And so we want to hit as many of these jump pads as possible. Oh, we did get a card. So guess what? You will now get to see, ooh, missed that jump pad. You'll get to see what a card is. Blink and you'll miss it, but the card comes up right here. And it just adds a couple extra frames, and there we go. And the card tells you the name of the stage. And the name of the stage is almost always a real bad pun. Because you know what's great about games like this? When you have bad puns. So here we are a car with little legs. Little legs don't give you the best of jumps, but it's okay, the car is trying nonetheless. We want to avoid bears whenever we can, not because the bears are our friends, because don't worry, if we crash into them, they can take it. It's all good cartoon violence, which is, say, it's friendly. The bears love us at the end, and everyone survives and has a great time. We don't need reset on this one. This is a blink and you'll miss it stage. Don't do that on playground equipment. You want to be more serious on it. Don't blame yourself like that. And there we go, through that stage. All right, we've got one last stage in this set of levels, and then we are done with these. So here we are a car with springs. And once again, this one's going to be about trying to land on jump pads correctly. And these can be tricky to land on. That was pretty good right there. And that is how you do this stage nice and fast. Just clean on through, gold crown, gold prize. And that is it for episode 1 jumping. Episode 1 is relatively quick. Most of the episodes are pretty quick. We're going to go back here. This time our menuing's a little more advanced because since we finished everything, it's going to try and get us to go to the bottom, but we haven't unlocked the next stage until we get our friend. So the point of all these friends, each one unlocks a new episode, and they're all going to get together for a party. We are going to plan their party, and a party is not complete until you have every friend show up for it. So now we are going to be working. Cars, working for a living. You know, you can't play if you don't work. You need a little bit of work in life to play and enjoy playtime. So now we'll start by working at the park with the most typical of jobs. What if a car was a room, or I said that out of order. What if we were Edgar Scissorhands? If we grabbed that card, it would actually tell us the name of the stage is Edgar Scissorhands. Now the next stage is what I was thinking we're at. It's hard keeping all these stages straight. There's so many I do. But we are now going to be a car on a Roomba. You know, like one sees. You know, a car on a Roomba going through a park. That's a normal everyday thing, right? So, should mention, for the controls in this game, the controls are relatively simple. We have the analog stick changes our direction, and the A button does something. Or if you play with keyboard and mouse, mouse will change direction, and keyboard button will do something. I play everything with a controller, so, you know, I don't know what the keyboard controls are for this. But here we go. So I mentioned earlier wanting to avoid bears, and the reason we want to avoid hitting the bears is not because it, you know, is just rude crashing into a bear, but they have more momentum than any other object, so they tend to slow us down. Now we're going to get a job. If you've ever played Cook Serve Delicious, guess what? This is pretty much that. And there you go, Employee of the Month. Look at that happy car. Served up the hottest, freshest burger in 5.3 seconds flat. But you can't make, well, 5.306. You can't make burgers, though, without ingredients, so now we're going to be our sous chef, and we're going to prep some things. So we don't want to do too many of any item. If you do too many, things explode. You'll see it on the last one, which is perfectly allowable to explode here. Too many into the bin, it explodes. If you did that earlier than the cucumber, then you end up losing, but we win and we continue on. And we're done with our job at the park. We are no longer working at the park. Instead, we are going to work in an office. We could go either right to the bank or left to the office. I like going left to the office first, and we'll end with the bank. And we go around that welcome mat, do a quick reset here so we don't see the opening, and we will just zip on through. And this one is all about being on office chairs. It is hard to control. You have a lot of momentum, and too much momentum can be a very bad thing, so we don't want to fly off the stage. And there we go. We are good. We are a perfect model office employee. So now, let's get our coffee break. I know I love a good coffee break. I've got a mug of coffee right here that I can't even grab because I've got to keep my hands on things. And by the way, if you hit the button, I guess we have a cuckoo in our coffee. You know, as one sometimes does. You know, do you want milk? Do you want cream? Do you want sugar? Do you want a cuckoo? And we've got a cuckoo. What can I say? All right, now we're going to finish up with our coffee break. I'm going to get mine real quick. Fantastic. Can't hold on that too long.
You mind if I step in for a minute?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, chat. It was brought up earlier in the run that the titles of these stages are really horrible puns. Me personally, I do not like puns. So, if you want to make me, cringe and, be able to hear me facepalm to the microphone, send in donations with your worst puns, and I'll read them. Yeah. You want me to suffer with puns? By all means, put in your donations now.
And of course, at the same time, if you want someone not to suffer, I love puns, so it works out great both ways. A lot better than this. Never be this person. You know, we spent so long at the start of the 2000s seeing what sickness does. Don't be the person who brings sickness to work. So instead, cough your way back home to your bed. That's an unfortunate shot at the end with stuff just coming out of the car's mouth. But guess what? The car is going to be all better. We are done being sick in the office. We're going to hit one more of these. And if you notice, in the upper right corner as I finish stages, there's a percentage. That percentage is not 100% for all the stages. That's what you need to get through any percent. So the awesome thing on this game, there are a ton of extra stages we aren't even seeing that go beyond that 100%. So if you want a really fun game to just kind of get lost in casually, this is the game for that. This game is ridiculous, it's silly, it's fun, it is funny. If you want something also fun to speedrun, it is a different speedrun every single time just because the physics in this game are so physical. So you never know when the physics might slightly bump you in weird ways. Speaking of weird things, what if instead of working at the bank, we did a bank job? Instead of job at bank, we will take that money and run. Just like we want to take the money and donate to this great cause. So if you get a chance and you are inclined and you have the ability, donations, they're fantastic. We can jump here. We are trying to avoid jumping because we lose frames every time. So instead we want to take those very dangerous routes around these lasers. If the laser hits you, it is game over right then and there. And there we go. Took the money and ran. We had our disguise. No one will ever know it was Car under those glasses and eyebrows. Also, upper right, you see that skull over there. That's for super hard levels. There are extra levels. There are also extra hard levels. So if you want a lot of fun, this game has it. It has exploration in these world maps. There is so much to do. Speaking of, what are we doing next? This guy looks like a fan of sports. So perhaps sports are in order. As is a little sip of coffee, because you can only speedrun so much unless your brain is moving way too fast because of coffee, or at least that is how it is with me. So in this one, it's all about sports, but especially soccer or football, depending on what part of the globe you are from. If you are a fan of football and or soccer, this is going to be a good time for you as we explore all the ways to play soccer. I will call it soccer. I'm from the US. It's our name for it. And right here, this is a lot of button mashing because we want to... You're not exactly queuing up your button presses, but you want to make sure it hits for sure the soonest it can, which is really hard to get a good visual indication of when you are actually able to jump because, like I said, the physics in this game can be kind of interesting. So instead, we just got to keep mashing. You could change some direction in air, which we are going to take advantage of because it is hard to have these big bounces and follow the road exactly. So we will do these bounces and just shift our direction in the air a little bit. And, for example, right there could have been dangerous if we didn't have air control. And there we go. We have now seen all the ways to ride a ball like that. What could be next for sports? I mean, that's pretty much how soccer works. You ride the ball like that. Can't be any other ways to do soccer unless... Oh, we need to score some goals also. Oh, unfortunate.
Oh, no.
So this one's probably the hardest stage. Oh no, there we go. It is very hard to get ahead of that and to fall behind at the same time because you need to get ahead of that goal, but also go back into the goal. It is incredibly tricky. It'd be so much easier if we were the goal instead, but there's no chance of that ever happening. What? Look, sometimes you get what you want. And see, it's so much easier when you just take the goal and drive it right to the ball. That bear, might I add, if you chase him, you will not catch him. You need to outsmart him. Luckily, he's very predictable. Speaking of things being predictable, these stages rarely are, pretty much never are. So next up, we're going to go to target practice, where there's an important question of, instead of what if Car was riding ball, what if Car was ball? Ball with a little bit of an air leak. And so we're just going to roll along here. The game's going to remind us we can hold the button and jump, but just like when we're robbing the bank, every time you jump, you lose a little bit of momentum. Unless you do it in midair like that, you can jump in midair. It's going to be a theme of some things you'll see from me today, including the game I'll be running after this one, where sometimes you could jump in midair when it seems like you shouldn't. That's what we're going to be doing here to get speed boost, because we are going to be cutting some things really close to avoid taking the intended route. So we're just going to float along right here and jump over. And then we need to hit this speed boost perfect right here, because we are making a big jump. And that jump is a lot harder than it looks, because if you don't land with enough speed boost, you will just barely miss. And if you hit the edge of that cliff, you fall right in. So we're going to do one more without resetting. No reset on this one. And look how easy it is. There is no trickery here, is there? Oh wait, there is some trickery. And there we go. If we timed that perfect, unfortunately barely missed it, you can end up landing kind of on that fake wall as it falls. And if that happens, you can actually speed boost off of it and save about a half second. And now with target practice, it's time to get a ball cannon. But we're still going to use it to move. We're not going to shoot at things, we're just going to keep ourselves moving along. And my apologies for the camera is going to be less than fun to probably look at on this one, because it is a lot of quick adjustments that need to be made. And there we go, we'll have one more of that, because like I said, you tend to not get the same thing more than once. I love the crown going in upside down there because your car is upside down. You don't tend to do something more than once unless you could tell the developers really enjoyed it, and you could tell they enjoyed this ball cannon idea. So we're just gonna try and take some shortcuts, which we did perfectly right there. It's all about making sure we take advantage of when we're in the air to go where we can. We'll go over those back arrows without any hesitation, and goal. And once again, upside down golden crown, because we did that perfectly, or as perfect as we can. And then we'll hit this, go back to our home one more time so we don't need to take the slow route back to the beginning. And now we're going to have a couple other games within this game. So this is all about push the ball. First up is just getting a goal. And this, believe it or not, is, a little trickier than it looked. Aiming is kind of weird on this. I am not quite hitting that. It is near pixel perfect. Because your aim, there's a lot of degrees you can hit that, and this game loves simulating physics as close as possible, which means a lot of precision. And now we're going to see something completely different. Some foosball. There we go. That was actually about perfect for the foosball. The bears are kind of unpredictable. There is RNG there, and that goalkeeper usually is a little more problematic, a little more defensive. Today, I think I caught him off guard, so we got through that in under 3 seconds. And now, if you know the game Rocket League, guess what? It's time for essentially Rocket League to be played out. The first time we do it, easy as pie. It is such an easy experience. Second time, they're going to make it a little bit tricky on us. And by tricky and a little bit, I mean a lot and just kind of hard. So what we need to do here is get around the crab, as one does. And then we just, oh boy, we're just going to hope that ball kind of gets there on its own because we mis-aimed. Whew. That one goes either really good or incredibly bad. It went good, so I'll be happy with it. And then a little bit of penalty kicks. Just to wrap this up, the bear is always, I kicked it just a touch. I went too fast. So when the ball spawns, you'll notice it bounces. I went too fast, or too shallow on that one. You'll notice it bounces, and here, until you have the finish line, you have to go actually into the goal. And because it bounces when it spawns, it bounced up a little, and I kicked it from underneath, went over the crossbars. All right, we are now going to wrap up sports and figure out what our next events are going to be based off of who our new friend is. A clown. That is a weird choice. And with it being a clown, the theme is going to be longer. I'm not sure how that all works out, but I'll accept what it says. And we will be...
Oh, God.
we are a wide car. So there are multiple ways you can interpret the word longer, including longer of a wide way. So here our controls are just limited to being a very wide car that hits everything in its path. Too wide to even fit our smile all the way on the screen. And then we can hit the button to honk our horn if we choose. So this is pretty much who we are for these two stages. And what's fun is it used to be these stages were actually skipped when this game first came out. The original patches when this came to Steam had a skip in this area where you'd skip the first two stages of this. Oh boy, that went a little weird. It used to be you would skip the first two stages of each half of longer, and that disappeared. So these stages, this one and the previous one, actually have only been ran in the speedrun routes for a couple months. They're relatively new, and because of that, it's easy to make mistakes like I did earlier, and it's a good way to have an excuse to excuse away that mistake. It wasn't that it got away from me, it's that I just don't know the route. I know the route. I'm not telling the truth there, except for the part of they used to be skippable. So that is where physics can be interesting, is I hit that one board, because you have low bounce here, sometimes that board you'll hit right where you will just bounce like I did, sometimes you will go right over it, no hit at all, and sometimes it will hit you and you will just come to almost a dead stop. So you never know what the physics will do in this game. That crate right there, for example, should not have landed in front of me, but it did. This game, it's unpredictable, which is part of the fun of doing speedruns. If you love a speedrun that goes perfect every time, horrible game. If you love one that keeps you on your toes, this game is unbeatable for that. So here we are just going to keep spinning around. We're going to skip one, because it's a little quicker skipping one. Be mindful of that bear at the end. And then we are just going to hit the button a lot to go back and forth right there, so you can see both ends of the car and see how great we did right there. All right, let's do the same thing, but longer. I mean, this episode is called Longer. Let's go longer.
Yep. Oh. Okay.
I'd call that a little longer.
Just a little.
And there we go. It's longer for a car, but shorter for a stage. And we get through in about 10.5 seconds. And then, what are some other long things? Well, there are wobbly long things. What does wobbly mean, you're probably thinking? What about an accordion? There's a good pun for you. And so, I just had physics doing some physical stuff to me right there. All right, so this is tricky control because you never know what the back end of your car is going to be up to. And that back end, it has a lot of influence on your movement, but no control for the player. And now, enough with accordions, how about a caterpillar? You know, it's kind of like a caterpillar, but it's a car. Will be a caterpillar. A two-headed caterpillar. The challenge here is make sure we always try and change what end is in control on flat ground. If we are on top of something, or if we maneuver in a way where we can't be on flat ground, and flat is solid ground, I should say, then it means you can't change, and you could sometimes get where the front of your car is stuck up in the air just a little. All right, now RNG Nightmare. Or for anyone who had a Nokia phone way back in the early 2000s, Snake Car. And this is RNG Nightmare. Ooh, that was good luck. This one, though, really far away. You never know where the balls are going. At least this one, the last one, it's not too far from the finish line. But you never know where they're going, so worst case scenario, the last one's at the very bottom of the screen, and everyone is as far as possible. I've gotten silvers there just because the RNG was a nightmare. Alright, now, there's a second half to longer. And what's another way be long? How about this way? And here, once again, the button is for a horn. And so you're probably thinking, oh, that's nice, you know, just a horn. But what's a way to really make a horn longer? What if the horn is a giraffe? And now we're going to try and void that card. Thankfully we did. Our control here, if you can't tell from our back end's movement, is really unusual. This is incredibly hard to control. But we're going to go around the edge right there. And we're going to introduce an idea with that giraffe. By the way, crown went off screen because it went on the giraffe's head. If I didn't hit the button to honk my horn, it would have been a little different because the giraffe's head would not have come out from the car. So here is same thing, but this time we're going to keep that giraffe in the car so you can see the crown at the end. Let's avoid the intended route. I wish we would have hit that speed boost, but it's okay. We'll cut this right there, avoiding most of the track. If you played a lot of Mario Kart, you probably think going off-road will slow you down. It's not the case on this game. So go off-road all you want. We are going to miss that card, thankfully. That came perfectly. That is how it should be, and how it usually isn't for me. Crown goes on my head, because giraffe did not come out. And so you're probably thinking, how is the rest of this going? Well, how about giraffes? It's giraffes all the way down from here. Giraffes on top of giraffes, including, this is the worst stage in the game, because what if you had legs that were giraffes, and good luck controlling this, because it controls really bad. Like, it's intentionally bad. You know, it's not like the game is broken, it's just really hard to control this. They give you a boost meter that you saw in the bottom right. That boost is a trap. You use it too much, and you're going to lose control, and you're just going to go right off the cliff. But now, things get a little better with giraffes. What if Giraffe Spider-Man? We're going to use our web shooters to propel us, except for instead of web shooters, and we're going to use them when we're close enough to objects, including those bears, but instead of web shooters, it's giraffe tongues. Because, you know, that seems normal enough, right? I mean, this is such a normal, completely normal game. The most normal a game can be. What if we had some Tony Hawk action? Tony Hawk's an awesome game, so what about skateboarding? But that skateboard's a giraffe. Because this game is normal, you know, it's everyday, regular situations. I mean, if you have a driver's license, you've gone through this type of stuff. It's part of your driver's exam. You know, you can't get the license unless you show how to skateboard on a giraffe and how to Spider-Man fling yourself with giraffe tongues. I mean, this is the most normal game you will ever find. By the way, I love that skateboarding stuff, so let's do it again. Let's do it one more time. See? This game's great because it keeps you, it keeps you guessing with all of the obvious things. You know, it's too obvious, that's why. And we'll just go off-road a little. And then just go flying off of a great ramp. I love this ramp right here. Multiple routes you could go through that area, which is fantastic. Almost every stage in this game gives you, like, options. And then here we're just going to do kind of a slow stilt walk. if there's any announcements, this is a good one for getting in an announcement. By the way, here's something you probably also didn't have on your predictions. Yeeting a giraffe. And there we go. This game, you gotta love how this set of stages just ends with, how about we just throw a giraffe? Yeah, let's do that. And then we will go ahead and do our usual course of menuing, and now it's time to find out, what is our next set of stages going to be? Who is our friend? He looks like a traffic person. Oh, driving. Of course. You know what? I know this seems so weird. What if you did driving with a car? I mean, they wait until episode 5 because it's such a wacky idea. They're like, there is no way anyone would believe this if it was episode 1. So let's save driving for near the end. So, driving actually has 4 sections. It is the most sections of any episode in this game. And so, those 4 sections consist of driving typically has multiple numbers of tires in there. So the first set is going to be 1 tire. We're also going to end up having some 2 tire, some 4 tire, and also kind of 1 or 5, depending on how you want to look at it. And we'll see that soon enough, but for now, let's be a hamster wheel on the loose. Also, we've got cows aplenty in these stages. I'm going to try and do a speed strat here that may go really well or may go really bad. So, hopefully it goes well. It is coming up right here. We are going to have 2 dash pads that we have to hit both of them. Perfect. So if you have too much speed there and getting the card is faster than not getting the card, if you only hit one of those dash pads, you will not have enough speed and you'll fall into the ravine. And it is hard to get up there and land where you get both of them. The world record holder for this game actually tends to skip that just because it is too unreliable. But it's a marathon. Gotta try some, try some out there strats, including letting a UFO help you out. I don't think it's cheating if a UFO helps you a little bit, and we're going to try to avoid, we're not avoiding. That is such a hard one to avoid, so here we go. I love the name of this stage. I will let the card show up for just 1 second for a good pun. But this time for wheel.
Ooh. Ooh.
I love the puns. Then this one is our final one of 1 wheel. And it has a little bit more to it, a little more length, more trickiness, more challenges. And we want to avoid the card. And we want to avoid those ramps, because those ramps will fling us up too high and we will lose a lot of momentum when we hit the ground. So we took the lower route over those hills. We'll just continue through here. Relatively straightforward, about as straightforward as this game gets for anything. And now we are done with our 1-wheeled ways. 4-wheel, I wheelie mean it. We are wheelie done with the one wheel. I had to throw all of those in. They're horrible puns. I'm sorry. And
I'm
now,
not mad, I'm just disappointed.
that's what I'm here for. Disappointment. And really bad puns. So now we're going two-wheeled. We are bike riding. We're at the bike rental area. Because, you know, if you want to be green, sometimes instead of driving a car, you drive a car that's riding a bike. Because that's a more green route, you know, it takes care of the environment. Oh, boy. That physics got a little stronger than I expected, but it's all good. So we start with a couple of these bike ones where the bike has rockets that push you forward. We're soon going to have, after this one where the rockets push you sideways, or not sideways, up and down. So it's going to give you the jumps. So it's always important, pay attention what way your rockets are pointed. Avoid that ramp, because hidden behind the greenery was a route. Avoid that card by not boosting until we nearly hit the ground. And look how happy our bike riding car is. Unfortunately got silver because I hit a couple things slightly slower than intended, but it's all good. Because silver just means next time we could do a little better. Because I love playing this game. I'm always going to keep doing it next time. So, rockets pointed up, so make sure you don't just try and blast forward, but we're going to avoid turning any more than necessary, because, you know, quickest route between 2 points, from starting point to the finish point, is a straight line. So we're going to go as close to a straight line as possible. We have our speed boost, so we're going to try to drag out our in-the-air speed boost a little bit. And there we go. Next one has one of the hardest little challenges in this route. It used to be a little harder. I think either I got better or the game in some of the patches made it a little bit easier, but we're going to have one spot where there is a chance of me failing, so let's hope I don't. We're going to take the more direct route. And here we go. And this is the hard part. Normally, if you have too much momentum, you could go flying off pretty easily, but we got through that nice and easy. Don't jump where that card is, so you can fall down to that boost pad to keep boosting, get that gold, and unfortunately, 2 wheels is going to be behind us. So if you enjoyed the 2-wheel action, no more of that, but instead, before we go to the 4-wheel, let's do the 1 and or 5, depending on how you want to see it. If you're an old like me, or you just love retro stuff, you might know slot car racing. And that's what we have here, slot car racing. Important thing here is if you, as a kid, you might have played slot cars, in which case you know if you go too fast on the turns, you do what I just did there and go flying off. So it's all about feathering the button, and oh, this one's treated me a little rough. I had a rough start on those first 2 because I couldn't get my slot lined up, but there we go. So the physics, it's a little random at the beginning of the first 2 attempts. You might saw my car was jiggling a little because it wasn't quite lined up in the slot. Makes it a little tricky. So this one, we are going to go flying. We want too much speed. Like right there, you need too much speed, get around, slow down a little bit, and then we're going to grab a card on purpose because we want to let the gate come to us. And we're just going to break it till you make it. Not much of a pun there, almost kind of advice when you're a kid playing with toys. Typically, you just feel like breaking it till you make it work right. Speaking of things working right, we go too fast here right away. We bump off, but it's all good. We get back on course. I won't do that again, but we do that one time. This one has a very hard skip, and we're going hope for the best. Here's hoping for the best, and that is the best. That is a near frame perfect flip off the track. Getting that the first time is, I'm going to say I am really glad that worked out, because I was having less than positive thoughts on that one. But all worked out, and now we're going from slot cars to 4 wheels. And I mentioned toys before. For me, growing up, one of my favorite toys, Hot Wheels. I loved toy cars growing up. And guess what we are going to be here? We're going to be a car with Hot Wheels. Look how awesome that car is. And this one, it's all about just driving through almost Hot Wheels style tracks. Hot Wheels, for me growing up, they are always well known for having things like tracks with sharp bends on it. So here's a little bit of a sharp bend. There's loop-de-loops. It'd be cool if we saw one of those. Spoilers, we're going to see a loop-de-loop. We get all the cool stuff right here. Get a nice little ramp that we'll go flying off of. And there you can see up ahead the loop-de-loop. Gotta love loop-de-loops. Always a cool thing with racing and cars. Although it really makes for an interesting time with perspective. Avoid that card. Really hard to avoid, but we did. And unfortunately, that one bear was in the way. He'll be okay. No one gets hurt in this game. Everything is friendly and fun. And so, since we had fun with Hot Wheels, let's have more fun with Hot Wheels. We got another of that same general thing. I have a bad habit of just kind of rotating my head almost like a dog, you know, that's hearing a silly noise during this because of that rotation. It's like, gotta keep twisting my head to see what's coming next. So this one, we are going to do a skip that will save us about a second and a half. I hope we get it first try. Otherwise, it's going to cost us. It'll save us a second and a half. It'll cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 seconds if we fail. So we will try once. Not necessarily marathon safe, but we're doing really good. I think we are well ahead of estimate at this point. So we're going to make an attempt. There's a huge loop-de-loop coming up, a huge one. I don't want to waste time on the whole loop-de-loop. And there we go. That was perfect. We avoid the long loop-de-loop and just go straight to the end. If you go off of that and don't have enough room to build up speed, you will just fall off that little final jump and just fall right into the goo below and have to repeat 55 seconds of stage. Also, this is another one of my least favorite stages. All of this green toxic waste, do you know it can't be good for you? It's not good for car. And I think it might have affected cars' tires. And this is as hard to control as it looks. There is no real steering on this. It is pointing your car in a kind of direction and just hoping for the best. And that's why there's so much toxic waste. Bear, quit throwing the toxic waste around. And now, we have the slowest part of this whole run. We have to wait for the map, so another great time for any announcements as we wait for this bridge.
All right, chat. We've got that bid war for the Earthbound name. We currently, things have not changed. Buzz is still in the lead with $11. Bubble in the lead with $10. I always slip up on that one. And King in the tied for second with $10. Also, if you want to make me suffer, send me your puns. I'll read them on air. Somehow I might regret that one, but send them in.
Yeah, let's hear some good puns. Get those donations in for the good punny ways that we all really want. Well, I will really want. So here we were, a car with too many wheels. But is it really too many wheels? I mean, we did really good just rolling through that. And now we're going to be a car with... What if you put a parenthesis or two in wheels? And you were a car with parenthesis W and parenthesis heels. So this one... Ooh. I'll go ahead and go back to the map, so it'll be a little smoother of a startup once we are good to go.
And we're back when you're ready.
Oh, awesome! What's a speedrun event without technical difficulties? It's just what keeps us all on our toes, so I will go ahead and dive back into this. So we are in water, and we are on that first stage of water. How does water work? Well, water is where we will become a fish. But not just any fish. You know what would be a great fish? I'm sorry for this. It is punful. We're a carp. I just love that. I love this whole game. And we are not... I'll just say we weren't struggling there. Alright, we will have another carp. Because after one, you need a second one. This area also, we're going to see a boss battle coming up in a few stages. We're going to see all sorts of great things like that. We will also see mines in the water. And if we are lucky, we will have a mine explode for us. But nope, did not. We went too fast to get a speed boost. So, as you go through, those mines can give you a speed boost. But only if you're slow enough. You need them to explode for you. So here, one thing important is anytime you, on the map screen, go from land to water, or vice versa, you lose some speed, so we want to limit that however much we can. Here we are going to be a fancy sailing vessel. Our only button is to honk our horn. We're too fast for these mines, and our hitbox is really weird for them to detect us. But we have important Mario Kart lessons here. Avoid the green shells. If we hit one of these turtles, it will become a Mario Kart style bouncing green shell. And it is very easy for that to hit us. It will not cause us to sink. It will instead just knock us around and really drag out getting through that little cove where they're hanging out at. And there we go. Gotta love that face. That is a face of a proud sailing boat. And now comes that boss fight. I mentioned a boss fight. How does this game have boss fights? What type of boss fight would it be? Well, Up ahead, I see skull and crossbones. Means dangerous stuff. We have a cannon. Maybe. Oh, there's the boss. Perfect 3 cycle. We were a little further away than ideal, which meant took a little longer float back, but got that in a perfect 3 hits. Did not miss a single one, and it's real easy. Miss those. Let's celebrate with a little karaoke. They even put the pun on the screen. Karaoke Machine 2000. All we had to do here is honk any at all during the honk part. Do not honk at all during the non-honk. So you could do a long one. You could do a little tiny one. You could do machine gun style. As long as you get those honks in, you are good to go. And if you're wondering, how do you get that card down below? Standing on a screw. All you had to do is use your left and right to sink into the ground, and you will get that card if you want to lose time. But we didn't want to lose time. We want to keep moving nice and fast. It's all about the speed runs. And now we're going to see the other side of water. This side is a little more vicious. We're a shark car. It's not a good pun, shark car, but that's what they call you in this, is shark car. So the shark car can jump, because apparently sharks are well known for jumping. Seems a little weird, but I guess it's the one weird thing about this game that's otherwise so normal and so predictable. We're just gonna jump over things. Hopefully, I'll show you a speed boost off of a mine. This should go real good, and yep, look at that speed boost. Missed that one because I was going too fast, but as long as you get one of those, gives you a good speed boost. You get the gold crown. If you don't get it, it's really hard to get that gold crown. All right, we'll have another round of being a shark car. This one is going to have a very tricky end to it, and we're just going to hope, ooh, barely clipped the ledge right there. Want to get a real big jump. It's almost pixel perfect to do that jump perfectly because of the object on the other side. We're going to get a little speed boost right up here. And then we just want to go nice and fast. There is one bit of underwater geometry that could cause us trouble right here, but if we do it right, and there we go. That last jump has some underwater geometry that you could snag on. We didn't snag, we got through lightning fast. And now we will say goodbye to the shark car. If you're wondering, the dotted line back there leading to the yellow stage, dotted lines lead to bonus or optional stages. And there are some fun ones, including more shark car, if you like the shark car. But now, let's go back to those Tony Hawk giraffe, but skateboard, and let's just be kind of the same type of thing, but a surfing car. I want to slow down there, so we got the speed boost off of those mines. Otherwise, I'd go too fast and miss the speed boost. Nothing like going too fast to go fast. So sometimes you gotta go slow to go fast. Right here, we're going to take a shortcut. You don't need to adjust your aim afterwards. That speed boost will put you in the right direction. So speedrun strat, if you try and turn right while you're getting to that speed boost pad at the end, you might miss it. You might turn too sharply. So instead, just let the boost pad do all the work for you. We're going to do another round of surfing because, like I said, when the developers of this game come up with an idea they like, you're going to get 2 stages of it, and you can't blame them. Some of these ideas are so cool, and to only see them last for like 30 seconds, or sometimes even just for like a dozen seconds, it's too unfortunate. So carefully avoid that card. Keep paddling with our foot as much as we can. I mentioned before, stages that I did not like include ones where you're given big awkward-sized wheels or legs, and we're going to see one of those coming up before too long, but it's actually going to be one of my favorite stages. But first, I always forget about this one. Almost an auto-scroller. It is windsurfing or paragliding, however you want to call this. There is very little effort to it. You cannot go faster than the parachute. No matter what you do, you can even hit one of these mines and have it fling you forward if you are so inclined, and that parachute will pull you back. So all you could do here is just avoid falling down, avoid obstacles as much as you can. That one tree is a little tricky, and you're either going to get barely a gold or just shy of a gold. It's how it always goes. It's an auto-scroller. Auto-scrollers are the bane of speedruns, because it's like you really want to show how cool and quick you could be, and instead you're just kind of going slow. But sometimes you also want to just enjoy the scenery. We are almost done with this run. This episode only has 2 more stages left. This is one with awkward-sized tires, but I actually really enjoy this one. It can get a little out of control from time to time, but it's also a lot of fun, especially because of the mines. If I could get one to help me. That one did not want to help me out. Here we go. Can this one? Oh, did not give me the help I wanted. There we go. That's a nice little mine boost. The last mine boost of the game. Also, that's the last stage we restart to skip the opening, because the next 2 do not have an opening to them. The first one, we need to get a job to enjoy our beach vacation. So for our job, we're going to get people floaties. You gotta love a floaty when you're at the beach. So this guy's going to get the flamingo floaty. These 3 are going to get the banana floaty. And you know, they look like they're up to no good. I wonder what these 3 bears with the banana are up to. You know what? I say for the last stage, the last real stage of this game, we find out what those 3 bears were up to. I bet it's fun, and not in any way is it kind of a burden to the car. Oh, they are kind of holding the car in place, but it's okay. We got through. We got them off of us. Oh, those troublemaking bears. All right. With this, we are about done with episode 6. Episode 7 is going to be really short. So I'll just say time is going to be coming up for this run in about a little over, I'd say about 2 minutes. So if you have those car puns, get them in. Get those car puns. Get those donations. It is the perfect time for it. I'm so good. Let's celebrate. You're so good. Also, all of you and the tech team, hosts, everyone is so good. Of course, I will be back for the next run. But I do want to just take a moment right now, because it's a perfect time to do so, to celebrate everyone who helped make this happen. To get ready for this party, we're first going to need to make some artwork. I'm going to try... The bird was supposed to start the paint a little earlier, but let's try my really bad approach at drawing a heart. I was never the type of person as a kid who could do an Etch-a-Sketch, but there you go, the closest I could do to a heart. It's almost more of the mode of the 3 with the bracket than a real honest drawn heart. But that's what I can do. That one's an auto-scroller. We're getting really close on time. We'll open our artwork. It's actually going to be the artwork from the save game I deleted, where I drew just a line on the ground. Next time I play this, though, it'll be a heart. We're going to make some music. This one is not timed. Instead, it goes as long as I want. So there we go. There's our song for the party. And time is now coming up really short. Let's go ahead, listen to the music. My music is always the same for the party. It's always the skip music. And now, let's make a dance. We have 20 seconds to make our dance. We'll open a treasure chest, and then we have about 4.5 seconds left of the run afterwards. So be ready with the time coming up really soon. Excited for this party to go off. And you know what? Let's go ahead and add some moves to our dance. Look at those cows having a good time. All right, so time is coming up in probably about 20-ish seconds. So as soon as the screen goes black, it will be time. So I will jump into a mine car, and once that little control stick in the bottom right corner vanishes, that'll be time. So first we have them talk, and it's about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. There you go. That is any percent. There are other categories with more levels to them. All episodes has a couple more episodes to it. There's also 100%. Nobody does it because this game is so very big. There's so many stages and so many cards to collect. But if you want a really fun speedrun game, check this one out. It is so much fun. Or if you just want a game play casually, there's also user-created content. You can make your own stages. You can play custom stages. There's always something new to play. So if you want a fun game, try this one out. Also, if you want a great thing to do, try donating to this great cause or tell some friends, because there's still more runs before the event wraps up. So get the word out there. And you'll see me in the next run, so I'll say more farewells after that.
GG's on your run. All right, everyone stick around. After this short break, we're going to have King's Dungeon, World 1.1 and 2, 100%. If you blink, you might miss it. It's a short one. Stick around. We'll be right back.